Hi Flosstube friends, welcome back to my third video. I've had a few requests to have more information on the samplers that I have hanging on my living room wall, so I thought I would make that video today. However, this morning when I attempted, the weather was not cooperating. It was very gray and cloudy, so I thought I would wait till this afternoon, hoping that the weather would clear up and I could get a better video with them on the wall, but Mother Nature had other plans and it's still gray and cloudy. So I thought this was the second best option here. The first few that I'm going to show you are smaller ones, so I'm just going to hold those, and I apologize for the shakiness. I don't have very steady hands for some reason. But without further ado, here we go. Let's see if I can get this in the right area. This one is by Shepherd's Bush. It was published in 1992, and it was a free one. It's called The Gentle Garden, and I stitched this in 2001. I looked on Shepherd Bush's website, and I could not find it under their free ones, but maybe someone else will have better luck. It's stitched on linen with, I believe it's just the DMC. So there we go. Again, it's called The Gentle Garden. The next one I have to show is Blackbird's Design. It's another free, let's see if I can, another free sampler. And if you go on Blackbird Design's blogspot, it's still available. It's also stitched on linen with DMC. And I stitched this, I believe, in 2013. Sorry for the shadows. It's a bit difficult to film today, but I wanted to get this made for those who had requested it. The third one, another small free one, and I apologize, I have looked everywhere for this pattern. I no longer have it for some reason, so I have no information on it. It's just like a little partial sampler. Sorry for the shadows again. It looks like it's stitched on an even weave with DMC floss. The one you see here, the first one, unfortunately I no longer have this pattern either. I thought that it was maybe from the drawn thread. I couldn't find it on their website. Thought it might be a Shepherd's Bush. Couldn't find it on their website. I know it was a kit because it has a small button on it, and I wouldn't have put that on back in the early years when I was stitching. I wouldn't have come up with that on my own, and I stitched this in 1999. I'm just calling it the Apple Sampler. It is also stitched on linen. It looks like it's DMC floss, not positive. It does have some specialty stitches with just the satin stitch there. The next one is called the Early American Sampler, or it's by the company, the Early American Sampler. The name of the pattern is Anonymous Shaker. I purchased this probably when I lived in New Hampshire. I looked up the Early American Sampler, and they are from Pennacook, New Hampshire, but they are no longer in business. It's stitched on linen with just DMC, navy, and a red. The next one, oh, let me see if I can adjust this a little bit so you could get the full view. This one was one of the very first samplers that I ever purchased the kit for, and it was from a company called The Creative Circle. And for all you young folk, that was a company that was very popular back in the mid 80s. And what they would do is you would like invite them in to have like a home party, and they had all kinds of different needlework. They had embroidery and crewel and cross stitch, counter cross stitch, and printed cross stitch. And I purchased it back in the the mid 80s, but I didn't actually stitch it until 1992 because it has couching and it has some other, like some woven up in the heart. It's woven, and that intimidated me for some reason. And all the little the leaves are, what do you call it, the lazy daisy stitch, and it just looked like more work than I wanted to do. But once I stitched it, I have loved it ever since. And it's called the Jacobean Sampler, number 1694. It was designed by Linda Hill Griffith, and I had a look, and there is one pattern for sale on eBay currently. So it's an oldie but a goodie. The next one, this one, there's a story behind this framing. I was working on this, and a dear family friend, an older gentleman, came by the house, and he's like, "Oh, I can frame that for you." So I let him know when it was finished. He came and picked it up. He brought it back, and as you can see, I think he wasn't too great at mat cutting, but I just have never had the heart to redo it. And every time I pass by it and see it, I think of him with very fond memories. So this one is by Homespun Elegance. It's one of their purely samplers called One for the Crow. I looked on Homespun Elegance and several different websites, and I could not find it in print at the moment. But again, I did find this one on eBay. I stitched this in 2000, and it also has a few specialty stitches. Well, I think just the satin stitch, now that I look at it closer. It looks like it's stitched on an even weave with the called for threads, which most likely were DMC. And the last one that I had in my living room, I have a whole nother gallery wall in my craft room with samplers that I'll have to do another day. But this one is called the Williamsburg Sampler. I stitched this one in 1993. I do still have the pattern for this one, but the pattern has, it's just a single sheet that has been torn from a magazine, and unfortunately the name of the magazine isn't on either side of the page, so I couldn't find any information on it. When I typed in Williamsburg Sampler, a whole slew of things came up, but this was not one of them. It's stitched on linen and with DMC threads. No specialty stitches in this one, I don't believe. So that's it. That is all of what I have hanging on that particular wall. I have, like I mentioned it maybe earlier in one of my previous videos, I've been stitching for many, many years. I've given so many away, but I have probably close to 50 different ones hanging on my walls and dispersed throughout my house. Not to mention all the Christmas ornaments, the Christmas stockings, that type of thing, the different holidays that are packed away into bins for those holidays. So I have a lot, and I'm surprised that I can remember anything about them because I've been stitching for so long. They've been around for a while. But I want to thank you for watching. As always, thank you for your support and subscribing. And hopefully I will be back at the end of the month. I've been very busy stitching on my Heaven and Earth design and a few other things. I have a lot to share at the end of the month for my monthly wrap-up. So I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.